All right, what's up, everybody? This is a follow-up video to my last video, talking again about vintage nibs. I will put the link to the last video in the description, so if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go check it out. That last video was a response to the Ink Tank podcast, episode number 2, where they talked about vintage nibs and they spent some time talking about the markets around buying vintage nibs right now. And my response was about my thoughts on the market, so definitely check that out. And I wanted to follow that up by actually going out and buying some vintage nibs, giving them a test run, and giving my thoughts on what I think about vintage nibs. I had actually never really used any. I think I might have used one or two a couple of years ago when I really had no idea what I was doing as far as Spencerian goes, Ornamental Penmanship. So I wanted to give them another try and just kind of see how it goes as far as buying them, how much they cost, and then what they feel like as nibs. So right here I have 3 nibs in my hand. I have a Hunt 101, which is a modern nib that you can get for $1.50 at paperinkandarts.com. They charge $2.70 for shipping, regardless of how many you buy. This one right here is the Gillot 303 vintage nib. One of the quote-unquote dream points that you'll see that term thrown around, and that we talked about that in the last video. I got 3 of these for $21 plus $4 shipping, so it was 3 for $25, so a little over $8 a nib. And then this last one, this chrome silver looking nib, is a Spencerian number 1. So this is the Iveson Finney Company Spencerian number 1 nib. Also one of the quote-unquote dream points. I bought 1 nib for $5.99 plus $4 shipping. So $6 for this nib. Or $10 for this nib. Check out the prices on eBay. If you search Spencerian number 1, you search Gillot 303 vintage. The other dream points like the 604 EF or the Gillot Principality cost more. I was seeing the 604 EF, I believe, go for above $20 a nib, and the Gillot Principality seems to go for at least $30 a nib. Maybe I'll do a video about those later. I do want to try the Principality. The Principality is the kind of the undisputed champion of vintage nibs. Just heard nothing but good things about it, and it's kind of just talked about as like that was the nib, that was the best nib, and nothing really comes close to it. So maybe there's a reason it costs $30 a nib, I don't know, but I wanted to see if kind of some of these more inexpensive vintage nibs were maybe worth it. So I tried the Hunt 101 just to kind of get a feel for, this is a very popular flexible nib that people use for Spencerian ornamental penmanship. It's very flexible nib. It has a good hairline, not a great hairline, and kind of the knock that it gets and that I've experienced as well is that the hairline fades pretty quickly. It becomes somewhat coarse after not a whole lot of writing. But that said, for $1.50, it's a great nib. It's definitely more flexible than these 2 vintage nibs that I have here. So the Gillot 303 was just a little less flexible than the Hunt 101, and the Spencerian number 1 nib was definitely the stiffest nib of the 3 here. The Gillot 303 hairline was really, I would say it's better than the Hunt 101, but not that much better. Granted, I'm just trying 1 nib out of the 3 that I purchased. It's possible that there's a nib with a better hairline in those 3 that I purchased. Who knows? So I don't know if this is it looks really good. I'll say that about both of these vintage nibs. They look great just on a visual inspection. You can kind of just tell that they were handled with care and that personal attention was put into each nib. Just like the way it was stamped, the way it was cut. The cut just looks like it's right down the center of the nib, whereas the Hunt 101, this one's pretty good, but some of the Hunt 101s I see, the cut will be a little off to the left or the right. So yeah, the Gillot 303, like I said, good hairline, just slightly better than the Hunt 101. It feels really good. with the Gillette 303, just like putting flex on it and throwing shades, like feels really good. It feels like maybe you have a little more control than the Hunt 101, but that might just be because it's a little stiffer. I don't know. I'm not really the best person to really comment on it because I don't do a ton of shaded writing. I do a lot of business penmanship if you watch my channel. So I will just kind of leave it out there as like I'm not the best person to comment on it. The Spencerian number 1 nib, this one felt better than all the other nibs. It is significantly stiffer than both these nibs, but it still has good flex. It's super smooth. It had the best hairline out of all 3 of these nibs. If I could find this nib for cheaper, I would maybe consider purchasing it when I wanted to do like some more traditional Spencerian type script. That super traditional, like mid to late 1800s Spencerian, where the shading it's not super thick and fat. It's kind of those narrower shades. A stiffer nib like this that's super smooth and has a great hairline would be absolutely perfect for that type of work. So overall, I really like writing with both these nibs. The Spencerian number 1 definitely felt better. Who knows, maybe if I tried more nibs, I'd get a better Gillette that felt better than this one, but I'm not going to buy a bunch of vintage nibs at $8 to $10 a pop to find out. So I think that's kind of where I stand at it is I think they are maybe a little higher quality than the Hunt 101, but I'm not going to spend that much money on them. Maybe if I get more serious into Spencerian and ornamental penmanship, I'll decide that it is worth it. But for right now, I'm just going to stick with my Hunt 101. Maybe purchase some more EF principles and see if I can return the ones that are defective. I talked about that in the last video as well. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to put some video here at the end. I'm going to shut up of me using all 3 of these nibs just to write kind of like some capitals in ornamental penmanship so you can just see them in action. I don't know if you can see a whole lot of difference with the 3 nibs visually, but maybe with the sound of it, and maybe you'll notice something different about one of the nibs. I mean, definitely the Spencerian number 1 produces a thinner, narrower shade because it is stiffer. So yeah, enjoy that, and we will see you next time. I'm going to have some more videos coming out soon, running up to Iampith, which is coming up this coming July 15th. Excited about sharing some of my thoughts as I come up to that. So definitely subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. You'll get notifications every time I post a video, and hit the like button on this video as well. If you enjoyed it, that helps it get seen by other people. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, absolutely leave a comment and I will get back to you. So thanks for watching. Bye.